I'm Ken Smith. I am a lifestyle content creator, and you can expect a video every 2 weeks.
What?
Maybe I'll give you once a week, but I don't want to just commit to that and not be able to, make good on my promise. So for now, let's stick to every 2 weeks. Okay. I'll give you a video and I'll give you something substantial. But what to expect? I think just overall lifestyle, overall my lifestyle with a strong emphasis on fashion and style.
I need is a beauty and a beat who can make my life complete.
I think that's I think that's a good starter. Uh, don't you think that's a good starter? I'll wait. I'll wait. Yeah. That's a good start. All right. So, we're going to do all the things. Took a few questions from my community over on Instagram, and I want to make sure that I am responding to those questions. So, stick around for the Q&A. You may learn some things that you don't really know. So, this is what this is about. This is like, let's get to know Ken, right? So, the first question is, are you single?
The way that he looks at me when he holds my hand, he wants everyone to know I'm his woman and he is my man.
The second question is, why did you leave your job? The alignment wasn't there. I was no longer fulfilled. I felt, that my way of leading people was not aligned with the organization's way of leading people. And so I think that we were out of sync for quite some time. And because I am someone who is very proactive and committed to my own professional development, I knew that wasn't the space for me anymore. It wasn't the space that I was going to be successful or I was going to thrive. And so it was just time for me to go. And so I left. I left, right? But not without a plan. I planned this move for about a year and a half. And finally, the opportunity came up where I was able to say, okay, I can go now. And so I did it. And here we are. What was your last role? What was your position at your last job, or, you know, I guess my last organization that I just resigned from? I was a manager of operations. I want to say that is a very broad title. While that was my title and I led a team of 16 prior to leaving, the other question is, what was your role or your title at NYU prior to leaving? It was the director of administration, and so I led a team of 20 with in direct report. I also co-led the center. It was called the Center for Academic Excellence and Support. I think it still exists. And essentially, what my role was, along with my peers, so we had a director of educational technology and a director of faculty development, and I oversaw, client services, the experience of the students and the experience of the faculty. But it was a pretty interesting role, and I learned a whole lot you know, about curriculum development and about, how you choose technology for, online learning so that the experience is a really great experience, not only for the faculty member teaching the course, but also for the student who's on the other side. So, pretty interesting role. I learned about assessment, how you assess the quality of a course, the rigor of a course, and all the good stuff that came with. The other question is, what are you currently watching on TV? I don't really watch a lot of TV. I don't watch the news, but recently I've been hooked on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, mainly for Bose, and I fell in love with her even more so, right? As a woman, she's such a smart woman, and I have a thing for smart women. So, and I love her on this show because we really get to see who she really is. I don't know that we get all of her, but the parts of her that we are seeing and we are experiencing is, I love it. She's a badass, and you can't tell me anything about Bose is like my best friend in my head. I love the relationship and dynamic between her and Dorit. Love that. If you're not watching it, you should watch it. And then I've been also hooked on The Real Housewives of Utah, believe it or not. And I've only been watching it for Mary's storyline. So if you haven't watched it or you haven't seen it, I suggest that you just watch this season alone, and it you're going to cry, you're going to feel all the feels, especially if you're a mom. I think even if you're not a mom, you're going to cry. She's going through some things, and I really respect and admire her vulnerability. Just she's just really vulnerable, and we all know that vulnerability allows you to grow, right? And it's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. And I really like, kudos to her for just sharing the realness and the rawness, and I don't want to give it away, so you should go watch that. Who are you currently influenced by? Who can influence you to just purchase something? I think I would want to do this in another episode, but several people in several sectors or maybe industry influence me in different ways. The question is, who are you currently listening to in terms of music? I am listening to Jay Z. If you follow me over in the gram, you know this. Nas, love Nas. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Lauren Hill, Jack Cure, some of Rihanna, lots of Beyonce, and Londrell. I am also listening to lots of gospel music. I know that may sound boring, but I love it. I love that for me. All right, podcasts. One podcast or two podcasts that I can name that I'm currently listening to is Deeply Well by Devi Brown and Jay Shetty. Designers are you currently shopping from, supporting, or inspired by? I can name three off the top of my head: Christopher John Rogers, Fee Noel, as well as Diatima. Look them up. I'm not going to give you a dissertation on them. You should know them. If you don't know them, I'll pop them up here. Please get into them, and you'll see why I am into those brands as well. So you have two trips coming up. One that's tentative for right now, the other one is fully confirmed and booked. So we are heading to St. Martin in March for about 4 days, 3 nights and 4 days, and I'm excited about that. And I am somewhat confirmed for Mexico City in February. We're in February, so I'm excited about that. We'll see how that plays out. If I don't head to Mexico City, I am going to be heading at least to Miami. I need the water, I need the beach. So that's what we're. Are you excited about this journey of full-time content creation? And I'm not sure that I said that I was or I quit my job to do content creation, because that is false. I did not do that. I needed rest outside of the fact that this role and me and we were out of sync for quite some time. So that was my main reason for leaving, but I am committed to creating content more consistently, hence why I'm on YouTube. But I don't know that content creation is going to become my full-time gig. I don't see myself doing it full time. Was there a time in my life where I felt motivated or sparked my love for fashion? And to answer that, yes, there was a moment. I think I was about 11 years old, and I discovered The Cosby Show and Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you know those shows. I'm quite sure you know The Cosby Show, right? With Felicia Rashad and Bill Cosby. But I don't know if you know Little House on the Prairie. I'd be very surprised, and I would love to have a conversation with you if you do know, if you did watch Little House on the Prairie. But that was the moment where I fell in love with fashion and fell in love with clothes and just the whole art of it, I would say. And it was really watching The Cosby Show and watching Little House on the Prairie. If you know anything about those shows, then you know that the set, the costume was completely on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? I feel like I was in primary school when I discovered, or maybe it was my first year of secondary school. Obviously, I was still living in Guyana at the time. And I remember vividly wanting to get home as fast as I could so that I can watch The Cosby Show. And it was mainly about Felicia Rashad and what she was wearing and the girls and what they were wearing. I wasn't really into men's wear then. I am now, but I wasn't then. So I didn't really care about their costumes, but I really cared about the women. I was infatuated. I was in love with it. And it really ignited something in me about what I can do if I had access to some of these things, right? And I think my dream of coming to America was like, yeah, or even traveling the world. Like I was just like, yeah, I want to do some of that. I want those shoes. I want those blazer. Like I knew I couldn't wear that in Guyana because it's a tropical place, right? But coming to America, you have different seasons. At the time, I didn't know that you had like four seasons or how many ever seasons we have. To stay on track with this, I was infatuated with Felicia Rashad and the costume, that she wore on the show. And then I just became inspired by her life and her journey. And I went to NYU because of the Cosby Show. I manifested that very moment. I manifested that experience for myself. And I love that for me. Okay. So, yes, the Cosby Show and Little House on the Prairie is what sort of ignited my love for fashion and style and just overall living a certain lifestyle and putting education first, and you can still be fly and be educated and just live a overall just dope lifestyle. You couldn't tell me that Bill Cosby wasn't my dad growing up. I don't care what you say, but it's like 1 o'clock right now that I'm doing this, but I'm committed to doing it for you all, and I'm committed to doing it for myself. So excited. I'm truly excited to be here. I thank you for watching. I hope you come back next week. I can't wait to share. I can't wait to share more. Yeah. Okay. Peace.